Good afternoon, everybody. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, my name is Mark Batt. I'm the Director of Advancement here at the college. I'm class of 87. And what a beautiful day it is for the dedication of the class of 71 gift. The quad, as we all affectionately know it, has been important to all of us during our careers here, and it remains that way for the current student body. At this time, I would like to ask any person who has served or is serving on one of our boards, whether it be the Board of Trustees, the Board of Associates, or the Alumni Board, could you please stand if you're able to be recognized for your wonderful dedication and service to Teal? If not for your vision and your steady guidance, as well as your philanthropy of time and treasure, days and events like this just might not be possible. So thank you so much. The commitment and legacy that you have established is remarkable to me. I'm privileged to witness this daily through my work with the Development Office. I want to thank President Traverso and Kent for being here. Thank you so much. And President Traverso, thank you for your guidance to the Teal community. We appreciate that. Class of 71, welcome back to your celebration. The celebration of the largest class gift in the 159-year history of Teal College. Your gift will serve the current students at Teal, as well as the Greenville community, for many, many years. From a development perspective, it may also serve as a friendly competition to the class gifts that we might receive in the future. I've come to realize that friendly competition in the world of philanthropy is always welcome in our advancement office. So thank you. Class of 71, you have set the bar very, very high. Your commitment, your foresight, dedication, devotion, and your loyalty to Teal will be celebrated today. Family and friends of the class of 71 and of Teal College, I would like to welcome you also. It is my hope that we will help provide you to a wonderful day here on campus and another great memory during your time here. At this time, I would like to ask Paul Saturnell, class of 71, to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Yeah, they applaud now. Just hang in there for a little while. Yes, we contributed to a whole bunch of grass right here. And it was an interesting conversation several years ago when the committee got together. We talked about what we should be raising money to do. Classrooms, scholarships, those kinds of things. But it became pretty apparent quickly that there was one place on campus that we thought could use a little bit of a boost, that was important to many generations before us on campus, and we expect will be important to many generations after us on campus. That's the quad. Things change. They will continue to change. Let's face it. Harder Hall, down in the corner where we used to have the student union, Coach's Corner, right? Down there. Florence West Hall used to be named Middle Hall originally because they didn't know what to call it yet. Okay? And you could look out all of these windows, and a softball game would just pick up on the quad and start there. Now, one of the good things, though, nobody could reach Hodge, but Harder Hall was a little close, but we had a whole bunch more trees along the walkway there at the time. So the trees cut down a lot of those balls heading out that way. But things broke out here all the time on the quad. Now, we realize things are different now. You have athletic facilities here. Okay? So if any softball is going to break out, it's down at the softball field. And if anybody's going to start running, like Marty Prentice used to do, our All-American, right, our All-PAC, right over here is where cross country started and ended. Well, we could see them start. They went up behind Hodge and across through maintenance and into the woods. We don't care where they went after that, you know. But Marty always came back. He was one of the first ones to come back all the time. So, yeah, things changed, but we wanted to do something special. We realized that students aren't the same today. That's why we thought maybe a little place up here, this patio area, would be a neat place to be. So, unlike us, they didn't have to ask us to turn off our phones. Okay? But there's a neat little place now. If somebody wants to bring their PC, jump on their smartphone, they can do that right out here in a nice little area that overlooks the quad. So all of these things are available. A couple other things happened. Okay? In August, because we didn't have all the football fields and all that, this place would get dry as a bone. That's why when the Brooklyn Bridge came and Johnny Maestro sang in concert to us, he had a song called Blessed is the Rain. Well, that's the reason, because we needed it here. Because every once in a while, the running backs would go up against the defensive backs here. So Frank Newnham, our free safety, had to tackle Bill Zambelli right over here during those two-a-day practices before the season started. So those things were happening back then. We realize they don't happen now, but that's okay. The students we have now will generate their own memories about the quad. That's what it's all about. We have our memories. Share more of those with your fellow classmates as we're here. Dave Martin, he's here. Fortunately, unfortunately, he's the last person that will give a commencement address for his class on the quad, because we were the last class to graduate on the quad. Next year, they went over to Passavant Center. The new people here, the new students, the faculty members, they are going to generate their own memories of the quad. We will appreciate them and the quad in those days to come. Thank you all for being here.
Are we doing, is there reflections, Mr. Hauser? Okay. Mr. John Hauser? Let me explain. I rented my first house after Mr. Hauser, from Mr. Hauser, and I continue to call him that to this day. And he admonishes me to this day for that.
I'm a poor substitute for Scotty, but I've been on the phone with him many times in the last couple of weeks, and he wrote this speech and he asked me to deliver it to you. Greetings, President Traverso and Kent, fellow classmates, family and friends, and distinguished guests who are here to dedicate and celebrate today. I'm sorry I cannot be here in person, but I'm a bit preoccupied with some medical issues. I'd like to start with a brief history lesson. The concept of a quad actually has very deep roots in our nation's history. In the initial settling and founding, our forefathers and foremothers had great insight into what a community of settlers needed. And first and foremost was a common gathering space for all of the people. And second was a place to provide free access to a large common area so that all the families could bring their sheep, cows, and horses to graze in relative safety and trade some of their homegrown vegetables and anything else they produced, like clothing. That is why little towns grew into cities that have places like Boston Commons. Also, that is why our ancestors were called commoners, because the vast majority of immigrants were not large landowners or royalty. I can't remember who or how many of you suggested that our 50th reunion class gift was for the class of 1971 quadrangle, but I thought it was brilliant. The quad, as we all called it here at Teal, was basically a large piece of turf grass on the main campus, beautifully nestled in between three dorms: Harder, Envision, Hodge, and Sawhill, and at the same time the major non-science classroom building, Greenville Hall. And if you didn't know that, you should not have graduated. No matter in what dorm we lived, what social group we joined, what major we pursued, this class of 1971 quadrangle was that commons area. A shared space where we could gather, talk, play soccer or touch football, throw a frisbee, blare our stereos out onto, sunbathe, or walk around, going to and from classes. and it was where we were graduated 53 years ago last week. What I wanted to share with you about the quad is not really reminiscing. It is what I call touch points. These touch points were totally unplanned, unexpected events that happened at our quad, touched me briefly with a personal contact with a classmate or professor, but made a profound change in the direction of my life, and all of it for the better. I am only sharing 4 in case you are checking your watches. Touch point number 1. When I arrived at Teal for my first college visit of the campus with my parents, we were led around by an upper-class woman who was smart, perky, and always smiling. We met up with her in front of the Road Hall, where the admissions office was, and as part of the tour, were brought to the quad so we could see the dorms. Well, the dorms were nice, but the soccer goals drew my immediate attention. Our guide told me that at the time, Teal did not have varsity soccer, but we did have a robust soccer intramural program. So far, so good. But freshmen could only join up when they were sophomores for the fraternity independent program. Not so good. But she suggested you could form your own soccer team for pickup games and play other floors, freshman floors. Yes. And so my freshman year, we created the Harder Hall team and wormed our way into playing unofficial games against all of the other floors on the campus. The significance of this touch point is that it created some lifelong bonds with some of the men on the team and kept my passion for this sport going later in life, playing on the All-Army Europe team and onwards in Hong Kong and finally back in the U.S. with the old men's team. My second touch point happened on a nice autumn day shortly after orientation, while looking out my third-floor Harder Hall dorm window and seeing upperclassman Gary Larson patiently throwing a football to Dave Harding, who I think many of you remember. Dave was always an upbeat guy, was very positive, smart, and he has ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. The fact that Dave never shied away from any challenge, never gave up, made me humble. And the fact that Gary Larson took the time to initiate a compassionate, close friendship and bond with Dave will be forever seared into my heart and psyche, in which I call my true north, my life compass. My third touch point happened on the quad on a cold day in early winter while walking to class for the library, and I ran into Jody Johnson. Jody and I knew each other because we were involved in student government early on. She was with her future husband, John Enterline, at the quad, but the touch point was when Jody said, out of the blue, "Hey, John and I are going skiing." I think it was night skiing. "Would you like to go?" I told her I never skied before, but she said, "Oh, don't worry, it's easy slopes, and you can get a lesson there too." So I went, did not break any bones, that was to happen later, and got hooked on skiing and later snowboarding. Thank you, Jody and John. The significance of this touch point is it actually opened me up to embracing a different activity, and later gave me the courage to explore different cultures, Europe and Asia, the creation of a career for my sons, one of whom is a professional mountaineer, snowboarder, and a great bonding activity for my future wife, Amy. Which leads me to the last but not least touch point, number 4. Again, I was lounging at the quad trying to get my French class work done in the next 15 minutes before a class commenced. My French professor, Dr. Bowen, happened to walk by and asked, "Are you coming to class?" So I got up and we walked together. Dr. Bowen then asked me if I ever had the desire to spend a junior year abroad in Europe. Well, I said I would love to. After all, I thought, but didn't say, they ski and play soccer in Europe. Dr. Bowen told me that a consortium of colleges in Pennsylvania and Ohio had a program in connection with the University of Basel in Switzerland, and he would write a letter of recommendation for me if I wanted. Of course, I said yes, and got selected. However, I did not realize at the time that Basel is a German-speaking area of Switzerland, not French. So they put me with a French, German-speaking family, and the rest is history, as it incented me to embrace different cultures, ideas, languages, even when I wasn't totally prepared to do so. If it weren't for these wonderful touch points, I would have never enjoyed and experienced life as I know it. So thank you, Quad. And lastly, I'd like to end my message with somebody else's famous quote. It might seem trivial or dumb, but I'm going to leave my quad quote with you because I think in an odd way it captures my experiences and growth at Teal. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get. The 4 years that I spent at Teal as part of that box of chocolates prepared me for a wonderful life, and I'm eternally grateful. Thanks to all who made this day possible. The class of '71 has established a legacy at Teal both through the lives of our classmates and our class gift. We do so with the charge to President Traverso and all who are here today representing the college. Work diligently to ensure that future generations of Teal students have touch points in their lives as they enjoy this quadrangle. I love you all. Scotty.
John, thank you very much. And Scott Russell, we miss you and we wish you were here with us, but we feel your presence. I would like to now introduce President of our college, Dr. Susan Traverso.
John, I was deeply touched by those reflections, and I can't help but assure you, all of you, that those 4 points are still happening in the lives of our students. Our students come with some interests of their own, and they find a way to connect those interests to what they can do here at Teal. They make wonderful new friends who change their lives. Sometimes they marry them. And then they explore new experiences that they've never done before because Teal makes them feel safe. Their friends make them feel safe. The environment makes them feel safe. The beauty of the campus makes them feel safe. So they're willing to sort of stretch out of their comfort and try skiing or try some new club. And then the last point, the faculty still play a tremendously central role in this educational experience. So that's still happening in very similar ways from the memories of your classmate. I want to thank you all for this wonderful gift. This is a central piece of our campus, and I can assure you that while we do have a field in the the STAM track and field complex, and we have our turf field that will be newly turfed this summer, this still is a really central place of student activity. We hold orientation here at the very beginning. When they come in August, we have all kinds of activities where they're meeting their faculty members, meeting each other. Then a week later, we have the student activity fair with tables lining up this sidewalk where students learn about student activities. There's lots of social events, particularly in the fall and spring, where we have both the wonderful now gas fire pit here, but we have other fires going and music and dancing. Touch football is sort of coming back as a potential intramural sport, and that will be played here. And then this spring, we had a group of prospective students and families and friends of the college from far away who came and watched the solar eclipse because Teal College was in the path of totality. And we have wonderful photos of all these prospective students looking up and enjoying this really unique moment that they'll never forget in their lives here on the class of '71 quad. And it was a wonderful experience. We had this gathering, then we had our current students who were down at the STAM track, and people came from far and wide. It was really a unique day. I worked all day, and then just before 3 o'clock, Kent and I walked down here and then to the track, and we watched the total eclipse of the sun, and we walked back, and he went back to work, and I went back to work. It was just a wonderful, strange day. But those prospective students were here, and now we're meeting them because they're coming to Teal. We have a wonderful group of first-year students. We're already meeting them in summer orientation, and that also has this quad plays a part there as well. So it is a centerpiece, and it always has been a centerpiece. But for me, that your gift helped us improve it, make it even more beautiful, but most importantly, name it symbolically for this class tell students this is an important place, and the people that came before you have your backs, and they want you to be successful. And my last comment, thinking about the significance of this gift, is we know all 4 years of college are very, very important to get you to that stage now in Passivant where your name is called and you receive a degree. And oh, what a graduation we had this year. It was I say this every year, John, right? Oh, that was the best graduation we've had. But it was really quite a good graduation this year. But the first year, all the research on college students tells us over and over again, and we know this from our experience at Teal, that the first year is the most important year in the experience of students. What happens the first year, and sometimes it goes very well, and other times not so well, but however it goes, how they cope, celebrate, thrive, start again, that first year really is determinatively of how they're going to engage with Teal. So that our first year students enjoy this beauty in these first year dormitories, residence halls we call them now, without Harder. Yes, that was one of my first acts as president, of taking that building down. But I like to think that now our students in this residential setting look across at the beauty of the Science Connector, the Pettis Center, and they know that Teal is both about living and learning. And we bring it together beautifully. So yes, they go on. Some of them stay the second year up here. Others move down campus. We've renovated Bain and Stewart beautifully. So there's lots of options after their first year. But this is where they get their start. And so your gift is making a difference now. It will make a difference for many, many years because of the beauty of this setting. So thank you very much. I love this class because you celebrated your 50th and you had such a great time. You came back. And I want to extend, you can come back every year for homecoming. We'll have birthday parties for you anytime you would like to regather. Life is short. Friendships are deep. We love that you love Teal. We love that you love each other. Welcome home, and thank you for this tremendous gift. Go class of 71.
Thank you, Susan, for those kind words and really all you do here at Teal. Please allow me at this time to call up individually the members of the Class of 71 Gift Committee for the ceremonial ribbon cutting. The Gift Committee is represented by Lou Benko, Karen Carlson Benko, John Hauser, Jody Johnson Ennerline, President Susan Taverso, Catherine Rich Zawacki, John Zawacki, Frank Newnham, and Paul Saturnow. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Let us pray. Holy God, we give thanks for this space and for all those who contributed to its creation and continued enhancement. We give thanks for lasting legacies, for continuous connections to this college and community. We celebrate the gatherings, the conversations, the ideas, the soccer balls and frisbees, the moments and the memories that have and will be held by this space. We dedicate this space to your spirit of fellowship and communion with all things and all people. May this space be a continued blessing to all it welcomes. Amen.